Did you know a janitor once secretly paid for a student's entire education? And it cost him the one thing he loved most? At Westbrook Academy, everyone knew Mr. Carter, the old man with the mop, the one students pranked on slow Fridays, the one teachers walked past without blinking. He wore the same gray uniform every day, moved through the halls like a ghost, and never complained once. But one student noticed something. Ethan watched Mr. Carter every single lunch break, sitting alone in the hallway, holding a photograph of a little girl. Same photo, same silence, same sadness behind his eyes. Nobody asked why. Nobody thought to. Then one morning, Mr. Carter was simply gone. No announcement, no goodbye. A new janitor appeared by Thursday, and most students moved on by Friday. But Ethan couldn't. He volunteered to help clean out the old supply closet. And that's when he found it. A locked metal box tucked behind shelves of cleaning fluid. Inside, hundreds of unopened envelopes, yellowed newspaper clippings, a faded military medal, and a handwritten note that read, "If anything happens to me, give these to Principal Mason." Ethan delivered it himself. Principal Mason opened the first envelope, then the second. His hands began trembling. By the third, his face went completely white. He sat down slowly, like the air had left the room. 20 years earlier, Mason had been a 16-year-old kid whose mother worked 2 jobs and still couldn't cover high school tuition. Every semester, an anonymous envelope arrived. Exact amount, no name. It paid for 4 straight years, every cent. He had spent 2 decades trying to find who sent it. It was Mr. Carter. But that wasn't the part that broke him. The little girl in that photograph was Mr. Carter's daughter, Clara. She had been sick. There was an experimental treatment. Expensive, promising, not guaranteed. Mr. Carter had the money once. He chose to send it in an envelope instead, believing more time would come. It didn't. Clara died at 7 years old, and Mr. Carter never told a single person why. The school gathered expecting a retirement ceremony. Streamers, polite applause, a cake. Principal Mason stood at the podium and couldn't speak for a full 10 seconds. Then he told the truth. All of it. He announced a permanent scholarship, the Clara Carter Memorial Fund, for students who couldn't afford tuition. The room went completely silent before it erupted, and then the back doors opened. Mr. Carter walked in slowly, leaning on a cane, still wearing his gray uniform. He had been recovering in the hospital and had no idea any of this was happening. He looked confused at first, then overwhelmed, then undone. The students who once laughed at him were crying. Ethan crossed the room, stood in front of him, and said quietly, "You weren't just our janitor. You built this school." Mr. Carter looked down at the medal in Ethan's hand, the one from the box, and simply nodded. Some people spend their whole lives chasing recognition. He spent his hoping nobody would ever find out. If you like stories like this and would like to hear more, please like, subscribe, and comment on what topics or stories you would like me to touch base on.